the gay piano player chainsawing the slutty blonde, crazy. Then their van
There's something about
crashes.
chainsawing people that's just very like
It's also
ingrained.
he just kept going. He like couldn't stop himself. He's like, I'm so sorry.
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched. I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. I'm Milan.
And this is David, and I finally watched Dawn of the Dead 2004.
We finally watched Dawn
You
of the
haven't watched
Dead.
it? Yeah, I never know. We should
2004.
probably coordinate. We should coordinate this from now on.
I've seen the opening where she gets in the car, but only like clips on YouTube, and I've seen the, let's call it the pregnancy fiasco.
Okay,
scene,
yeah.
But that's about it.
I was unsure if I had seen this because I know I had seen a good bit of like Ving Rhames in the mall with the shotgun. Having watched it this time, it's like I didn't see how they got into the mall. I didn't know about them leaving.
It sounds like you're playing Clue. Ving Rhames in the mall with the shotgun.
Yeah, and I didn't know about Andy and all of that. So yeah, I have not seen it. This is one of my good friends from high school was like a movie that he really liked, and normally he has pretty bad taste in movies. And this is, I don't know whether you agree or disagree.
Right up there.
With
it.
Is this a change or so I was about halfway through this, and I was like, I called you, and we were talking about when we were going to record, and I just said I'm very zombied out after I made it through, I think, 7 seasons of The Walking Dead. We did Night of the Living Dead, which I really enjoyed last year. And just, there's a lot of zombies, right?
There's a lot of zombies.
10 years.
Our media culture is kind of saturated with zombies. We've tried to do all different things with zombies. We've had fast zombies, slow zombies, strong zombies, zombies that actually kind of make sense that are like weak because they are, in fact, decaying bodies. I think that logically makes probably the most sense. Zombies that come out of their graveyard, like in Night of the Living Dead, or zombies that I think you compared World War Z with a movie like Contagion,
right?
Because it's more of a virus outbreak than a zombie movie. Much like, well, of course, we can't forget our 28 days, 28 weeks, and 28 years later. But your comment gave me an idea where I think you could also classify those types of movies as a different genre. I don't think you actually have to classify those types of movies as zombie movies, but you could do like an outbreak subgenre of films where it's those kind of movies plus like your actual disease dying worldwide spread, those like who's that director that does those apocalyptic movies all the time, like The Day After Tomorrow and 2012?
Oh, Zemeckis?
That's Zemeckis?
Wolfgang Peterson?
I feel like it's just one guy that does all this like movies like that. But anyways, I think you could almost categorize those movies in that category where it's
Roland Emmerich.
That's who it is. Roland Emmerich.
I was way off.
Yeah, Zemeckis. What are you talking about? Roland Emmerich, right? Those, you could almost categorize these type of zombie films as those type of films, because usually there is no end solution.
Right, it's just people die.
And I think what's so great about this movie is, skip straight to the end credit scene, is that during the end credits, you see them kind of reach the other side of the shore, and it's still fucked. Like, they're still fucked. Like, what happens to them at that point, right? Like, the movie ends, but then the movie really ends because they're out of gas, they're out of food, they're out of water, and there's no safe harbor.
Yeah, this movie does a thing where there's like an asshole character in the beginning, CJ, who kind of turns into a good guy, and then there's the asshole character played by Ty Burrell, which is my favorite character in the movie. Him and CJ, really, and every time they're like, "Oh, that's a dumb plan. That's a dumb plan," and then they end up being right, right? Like CJ's like, "I can't let you in here because you're gonna fuck this up for me," and they do. And then Ty Burrell's character, was it Steve, is like, "What your plan is to go get on my boat and we're gonna ride to an island?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea," and it wasn't a great idea, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I guess you're right. And everyone,
And
well,
and if I can pinpoint what I'm tired of in zombie movies, it's the ones where they take the zombies and they're like, but what's actually not, what's actually the greatest threat? It's the other humans, right? Like when the post-apocalyptic zombie movies where it's like actually like I'm thinking of like the was it the third season of Walking Dead with the governor?
yeah.
Like that type of shit. Like
But
I'm
that
just
that became the
I'm
entirety of Walking Dead. Like that
that's what I'm
became the
saying, and
entire
that's
thing.
and that's why when the CJ stuff started happening, I was like, I don't want more of this, right? I want zombies.
That's so funny because I'm the opposite. I actually like that. I like when it goes in that direction because that's at least saying something. When you just have zombies and you're not saying, oh, humans are the biggest enemy of humans. When you are just introducing zombies on a killing spree, what are you trying to say as a filmmaker?
Okay, but get the fuck out of here. If every movie does the oh, actually humans are bad thing, you're not saying anything either. You're just regurgitating the same thing
Yeah,
anyway.
but you can say stuff. You can say different things if you're just gonna throw zombies at the problem. Like if you're gonna throw zombies at the plot, then what's the point?
Well, aren't zombies isn't that like a isn't that just like an allegory for the AIDS epidemic anyway? So maybe that's what we're saying.
So I read somewhere that this movie and the original is an allegory for consumerism. That's why both happen like at a mall.
You know what though? Let's talk about consumerism because one of my main issues with this movie is Andy's over there with enough bullets to kill every zombie. He is an amazing shot. What the fuck are you doing? Just kill zombie. Like you could, you know what? Every hour I'm going to kill 10 zombies and then like we'll be done. We'll be done. Now the consumerism part makes sense because there's a line in the first one, and I guess I'm guessing the first one because I read it, but this one where they're like, "Why are they coming here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just like muscle memory. It's just like ingrained in there." And I think Snyder does maybe an unintentional thing because someone asked him towards the end of the movie when the zombies are like chasing them through the sewer and then up the stairs, the zombies pause at the stairs. And someone asked Zack Snyder, like, why did you do that? And he's like, yeah, it shouldn't have worked that way. It just was more, it was for movie purposes that I had them pause. But it a little bit made you think like that these zombies could think. Like that they're
I
kind of
thought you were gonna say something like they were expecting escalators to be moving.
no, but it made you think that like the kind of the human brain was still in there somewhere, like they weren't as mindless as other movies.
My favorite zombie movie, hands down, and this wasn't always the case, but it's ever since we did it was it's Shaun of the Dead.
Okay,
And Shaun of the
which
Dead,
barely counts.
I think it counts a lot. The reason it does is I feel like it says the thing that is most important is that in the age of today, we as a society, not to sound too pretentious, but we as a society, we go around on our phones, on our computers, on our whatever, kind of mindless, kind of just zombieing around, right? Staggering around to the point where when the zombie apocalypse hits, Sean doesn't even realize anything is out of the ordinary because everyone's already kind of mindlessly walking around, anyways. And so, and obviously, it's Edgar Wright wrote a movie kind of pinpointing Sean's character specifically being kind of a lazy piece of shit and then having the zombie apocalypse be the opportunity to make something of himself. But in reality, this whole society thing that Sean lives in is just a bunch of like mindless people. So when they become zombies, society doesn't really change all that much. And I thought that was one of the more interesting things to be said as a zombie movie. And it's different than the regular people are the enemy of people thing.
As you were talking about this, I was like, "What is my favorite zombie movie?" Ooh, you know what I like? Pride and Prejudice and zombies. I don't think that counts though.
I haven't
That
seen it.
this list, this guy, his number one on this list is Land of the Dead, which is a sequel to this, sort of. I don't even. There's no way it could be a sequel, right? So it happens 2 years later, 1 year later, and it is directed by George A. Romero himself. And I always thought like, oh, this movie must not have done well, and so then he took over the next one. And I actually saw Land of the Dead in theaters, but I think it was just like always planned that way. And the other thing about this movie is it feels like,
How old was he when he directed that movie?
how old was George A. Romero when he directed that movie? So it came out in 2005. I'm going to do a little bit of math on the pod real quick. George A. Romero was born in 1940, so he would have been 65. We
And
lost him in
then
2017.
wow.
May he
Huh.
rest in peace.
So
So,
he's like the granddaddy of zombie movies, huh?
yeah, he's Zombie Zero. My problem, though, with this movie that we're talking about, Dawn of the Dead, is it seems like they kept wanting to like have their cake and eat it too. So, for example, you talked about the ending. It ends in somewhat of a happy note that like 3 or 4 of our people get away,
Yeah.
right? Now we lose Mike, who just is like shoots himself in the head immediately. He's like, I don't want any part of this. But we have Ving, Anna, the guy and the girl that are in love, or maybe in love. She chose to go in a different truck than him. I don't know what that was
Oh,
about.
that was the person I wanted to die the most.
Because of the dog?
Dude, that girl is the dumbest motherfucker in this whole movie. And one of my favorite lines, because it's so stupid. One of my favorite lines is she gets into Andy's place and she's communicating them through the walkie-talkie, and she's like, "Oh, I found the dog. Oh, geez, there's a lot of blood around here. Oh, look, it's Andy." And they're like, "Get out, bitch, get out right now." And I'm just like, so nonchalant. Like, where is this girl's like danger radar?
It's nowhere. But apparently she's also like the John Wick of the zombie apocalypse. She's able to like break out of there, drives the truck over a ton of them, gets in, like knew how to line up the truck perfectly. But yeah, then
Well, that's
she's
true too. I didn't even like. I blinked and you missed the part where she like gets down from the roof and gets in the truck.
yeah. But so they then, after you think these people are saved, it's then during the end credits that you see, oh no, they're not saved. They're all going to die on this island. Which, as soon as you hear the voices jump back on the boat,
The dog.
fuck the dog.
No, but she won't. But that's the thing. She won't.
Except the dog, she now knows the dog's not going to get eaten, so you can just wait for the dog to come back.
She's not the brightest bulb in the box, but also, did you find it funny that the guy from Air Bud is the one who cares least about the dog in this movie?
Who's from Airbud?
The nice security kid.
Oh,
He's the
Terry
main-
is
He's the
Terry.
main kid from Air Bud.
Wow, that is did not recognize him. I don't know how. I mean, you did right away, so that's good.
Get on out of here! Get out! Don't ever come back.
But after that, apparently, I was reading that there is there's some like DVD extra type stuff where they're like, yeah, the zombie apocalypse did not wipe out humans. We were able to like survive. And then you have Land of the Dead after that, where the spoiler, things don't go well again with zombies.
I like to think that the actual sequel to this movie is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
Except Army of the Dead's almost an origin story too, isn't it? Like it starts with like that crash in the desert. I never finished it.
It was bad. I don't think this movie is good either. That's my hot take. I think, I don't know if it's his directing or what's happening, but I think the acting is just really bad. And I don't know if that's on purpose, but the acting is really bad to me.
I didn't think so. I thought it was fine.
I think some people do okay.
It was
I
very
think the guy who plays
flashy.
CJ does okay, but
CJ. By the way, I just wanted to tell you who's in Land of the Dead: Dennis Hopper, John Leguizamo, Simon Baker, and Asia Argento.
wow,
It just like,
okay.
and it's sort of like a Dread situation where they're just in a tower, like it's a huge building from what I remember.
Hmm.
Now I'm like, who is CJ from this? Oh, that guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah, CJ. What am I talking about? I
Well,
fuck CJ in this.
Michael Kelly is a great actor, just in his own right. And I think most recently I've seen him in The Penguin, the Colin Farrell Penguin show.
Yeah,
He was great in that. He's just a great actor. You know, who would you set up as the main character in this? Because I would say Anna's probably the main character. Obviously,
easily.
she makes it from the beginning to the end. But Michael is kind of like the guy who Michael is almost like the guy starring in his own movie that we are not watching.
Right. Like in his head, he is the hero of this, even though he makes a lot of bad decisions.
And he's not charismatic and he's not enigmatic. Like he's not leading man material, but one of like the most confusing aspects of this is that he is a a Best Buy TV salesman.
Who's been married 3 times and has kids.
Doesn't it feel like Shaun from Shaun of the Dead's character is like a parody of this guy?
Sort of. So I was like also trying to place where I know this guy from, which he was in U571, which was a movie I watched a lot as a kid. And then he was in 130 episodes of Medium.
Oh,
Like yeah, like I've seen him a ton. I recognized him, but I was like, I can't remember why. Yeah, he's in a tough position though, because it's like Anna is clearly the main character, but then they don't allow her to do like main character shit.
right.
It's a little bit interesting the way that's written. I don't want to, call out James Gunn for that, but I the fact that
Well,
you
that's something
have
we have to talk about too. This movie is written by James Gunn, directed by Zack Snyder, and I feel like everyone who's a Superman fan is could have a conniption over this film.
I think they'll be fine about it. So we could probably start just at the top. I think the opening of this in the hospital really reminded me of the Robert Rodriguez like Grindhouse portion, Planet Terror.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And I was like, when we were in the hospital, and then like they use a lot of I think it's dramatic irony is when like the audience knows what's going on, but the people don't, right? And so like
I
they're
think that's
talking.
another problem in like zombie films as in general is that it takes our characters way too long to realize that it's the bites that are spreading the infection and causing all this. And like we're sitting here being like, wait, how do they not know this? We've known this from the get-go.
Well, and it's like they are she actually figured it out way too quickly. You know what I mean? For a scenario where you haven't had zombies, right? Like this is a world where zombies don't exist, but these are zombies. So she figures out it's the bite. Is you're like kind of like that was almost too quick, even to the point where she's like, well, maybe I'm second guessing myself. And like the writing of it too, they're like, oh, we're gonna just kill this guy right now with his daughter. And then it just, without explanation, it cuts to them waiting till he turns.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have a scene where Michael like pulls the gun on him and is like, "Fuck, I can't do it." But instead, it's just like, "Oh no, we just decided without telling the audience to wait that we're going to wait and do it later." So then she goes home and it's like she's missing all the signs. Like the zombie apocalypse has started, and she's just missing all the signs of it. Right?
You're
Like it
talking about
has
like the TV and the broadcast and stuff like
the
that.
radio,
The
like
radio, yeah.
yeah, and then there's the guy in the hospital who they, is like, oh, he's dead or whatever, or he's passed out, he's getting worse and worse. We don't know what's happening to him.
Well, he was
Like,
moved to the OR and she found that weird and she was like, because of a bite? Like, what?
yeah. So then she's fucking her husband, who like you're like that guy is not, this mean to say, he's not famous enough to have survived past this point. Like
Yeah,
he's
and
clearly
she's
very
supposed to know that.
yeah. So like they're just fucking in the shower as the news is like, hey, there's zombies. Lock your doors.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh, what about like the great foreshadowing of her talking to the roller skate girl And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we'll go backwards around the block, like I'll go backwards around the block with you." And what's funny is like later on, she's like pulling her car through the houses in reverse. I was like, "Oh, that's great." That was like a very Shaun of the Dead moment, right?
Well, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this movie that was some was done like when Ty Burrell's like, if I change, shoot me in the head. And she's like, don't worry, I will. It's like right then she's gonna end up killing him like by shooting him in the head. Like
She was
after
very
he
happy about it. By the way, there is an Academy Award winner among us. Do you know who it is
yeah, it's Sarah Polly.
for women talking?
Yes. Yeah, she has not acted really in a movie since 2010. She did one thing in like 2025 that I think was like an episode of something or something very small. Oh, The Studio. She was in The Studio in 2025, but
She was in the studio. I remember that.
yeah, it looks completely different now. She's got like this almost like female Charlie Chaplin look about her with like the very like the dark glasses, and then when she went to the award show, she's wearing like a tux. Like she's
Yeah,
got a
maybe
her
she's full les. You don't know.
what no, she's married to a guy, and I don't know
Oh,
why you, but anyway, so she at this point had like she had been in Go in 1999.
right.
They'd been acting like for a large portion of her life, did this, which is a pretty big movie, and then I think acted off and on until 2010, and then just now she's like, I'm a director, and like Women Talking was great. I watched it up to the award, like going up to the awards that year.
There's a fake movie being shot in the studio that Seth Rogen's character keeps interrupting her to try to fucking do it, and it is funny how in the studio they're like, look, listen, she's a serious director, and of course he's the studio head producing the movie. I don't know. So now that you've like reminded me of like, oh yeah, that is her in the studio. Oh man, that's even better. I enjoy that even more.
So
You like the studio. You should watch the studio.
I'll get to it after the other 1,000 things I'm watching. The little girl apparently was used in all the advertising for this movie in Japan, and they like Snyder was quoted as saying like, yeah, for some reason Japanese people love that little girl like all bloodied up.
Yeah, I remember like the missing lips on her is a big like clip taken out of context sort of thing.
Yeah. The scene of her driving through the neighborhood is awesome.
It's actually from the beginning of from the time where she runs out of her house through the bathroom window to her crashing her car into the tree. It's like some of the best like zombie material out there.
Although I will say when that tanker truck hits the other truck off the highway
You thought it
into
was
the
her?
gas no, into the gas station, her car does not swerve at all.
Oh,
It just
it just goes.
it doesn't brake, it doesn't nothing. She just keeps going. And then very oddly, she pulls up to a bus and there's just a naked woman walking off. Why is she naked?
Well, you know,
Boobs? Just for boobs?
you can blame that one on Zack Snyder.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't really make any sense because it's like it doesn't look like she's a zombie because she's not moving very fast.
Right.
So it looks like she's a
She almost
human,
looks like she's hurt. She's
like she's
staggering out.
dazed. Yeah, like there was a crash. But then
You know
why
what?
is she
Here's
naked?
here's a scenario. That morning, before everything went to hell, she was kidnapped and thrown in the back of a guy's trunk. And the zombie apocalypse happened, freeing her.
Or she was in the middle of sex and a zombie broke in and she just had to run and had no chance to put anything on.
That's good too. That's good.
Not
Too.
complaining though. She looked very good. And then the bus driver just tries to, as you're seeing a person being ripped apart in the bus, which I thought was cool. And then the bus driver tries to break into her car. Why are your doors not locked during a zombie apocalypse? I don't know what that's about. Crashes into a tree, runs into Ving Rhames, then the other people. We go to the mall. Now we're in the mall.
It actually happens quite quickly. Like we
It
get to the mall
does.
quite fast.
And then, there's a couple like Mekhi Phifer's like, oh, the glass is shatterproof, asshole, talking to the one zombie. And it's like, that more are coming. And your whole, the whole consumerism thing, that makes sense. But also in the movie world, it's like there's no explanation why they're coming.
I think it's a more clear message in the original 1978.
Like something's drawing them.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a metaphorical sort of thing, and it's
But also
happening in
it's
a
maybe
mall.
maybe they can just like smell that there's people there.
That's true. They are making a bunch of noise, like getting in and shit like that. And other zombies are noticing them and chasing them, and they're making noise. So you have that kind of aspect to it. I mean, I hear the prices are killer. They really slashed the discounts.
So then
Yeah.
I heard your stupid jokes. Anyway, so then they almost get attacked, take the elevator, and then we run into the security guys. I don't know. What is the design of this mall that like no one can get to these upper stores? Like
Through the elevator.
there's no escalator, there's no stairs.
That's true too. Yeah.
It may it because they go up there and there are stores. Like what kind of mall is this? Apparently this was a completely like closed down mall in Canada, I guess Ontario from what I remember reading. And they had to change all the store names. So Hallowed Grounds was obviously a Starbucks, and Starbucks was like, no, we don't want to be in your zombie movie. So like every store is a fake name except for one I can't remember, and then Panasonic. Panasonic was like, yeah, absolutely, have our name in your movie.
We're going out of business anyways, so
Yeah,
it
which
doesn't
is
matter. For us, you know what's so great is, oh man, I was thinking of making a note of this and I completely forgot. But Hallowed Grounds, right?
yeah.
And then there was another one that was off, like, oh man, it was, I think it was almost like Hot Topic esque, but it was named some sort of like end of times, end of days thing. And they're really like playing off the stores being like apocalyptic coded.
I I love so they everyone like goes to sleep. They lock them in the one store. And then at the end they're like, "You know what, man? That fat chick from Dairy Queen was supposed to come over tonight." And then the other guy's like, "Everyone is dead, including that fat chick from Dairy Queen." He's like, "Damn, you're right."
Yeah.
And then we get the pastor, and who's a bunch of reasons, gay sex, abortions is why this is happening. But at the end, he's like, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth, which is a really cool line that like cuts to day 2 when like they take CJ's gun and lock him up. And you know, I like at this part though, like as they lock him up, you're kind of like, oh, but he's probably like the way zombie movies work, he is right to not let those people in. And then you see them bring in the huge fat lady who's clearly dying, like
I
so
was
close to death.
so angry. I was incredibly angry. Later on, they were making the connection that the bites were the cause of everything.
Right.
I was like, okay, that's why that lady was not giving off red flags to them, I guess. But I don't know, kind of kills it for the audience that it's so like a blatantly stupid thing to do.
But they don't know.
I know they don't know, but
It's also funny. There's a line of like, does anyone know what that lady's name? Does anyone know what her name was? And the guy's like, that lady had a name. Apparently, the original line was, that was a lady.
damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
they had to cut her. That was a very cool scene. And also, it's like the movie didn't want to make Anna the badass of the movie, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
it is a little bit of an ensemble piece, but like when that fat lady attacks, she stabs her in the head, one shot. It's like
With
Anna
the
could have,
crowbar or something like that, right?
yeah, she could have taken a more central role in the badassery, but like the pivotal scene at the end when they go to rescue the Nicole and the dog, she's just sidelined back at the mall.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it wasn't another store I was thinking of. It was the name of the mall. The name of the mall was Crossroads Mall, like, Devil Crossroads.
And we're at a crossroads.
I thought that was pretty good too. Apparently in the 1978 version, J.C. Penney storefront played a big part in that movie.
Well, we'll watch it. We'll get to it. Maybe I'll watch it while I'm out of work.
Did you also realize that, speaking of names of brands, that the truck that they used was a BP truck?
Yeah, which I think they thought was supposed to I think it's like a connection to the first one, which by the way, Tom Savini, who plays the county sheriff, is like, just kill him, just shoot him in the head and then burn the bodies. He's
Yeah.
from the original.
So there's actually a lot of them from the original. I think they played either like minor survivors or zombies, but in the credit crawl at the end of the movie, the end credits, there is like a dedication to everyone who was in both movies, which I thought was cool.
Right. So he's playing. Ving is playing chess with the other guy, and then like, oh, we need a new game. So they're doing. He's like, it cuts them like, oh, shoot Jay Leno, and you just see a guy that looks like Jay Leno get shot. And they mention someone else. He's like, oh, that's too easy. Oh, shoot Rosie O'Donnell. At the end of the movie, they were like, any characters that bear the likeness to real individuals is like, not whatever, which I know is like a standard thing at the end of the movies, but it did make me think of the Jay Leno Rosie O'Donnell thing. I can't
I
remember
didn't even
the
think
other one.
about that. It was the guy with the mustache, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, which
The Do you know what chess set Ving was playing with?
is like a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
It was the Alamo. Yeah, no, it was. I was gonna say the Alamo. I think it is. It was the Alamo.
Like, remember the Alamo?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. So Mekhi Phifer won't let anyone look at his wife because he knows she's been bit, and obviously, as the audience, we know that something's weird with that. The lights go out. It's a really cool scene where they're trying to put the generators back on, and they find the dog. It almost feels like the zombies tricked them into coming down there.
I just want to know how the legless zombie got on that ceiling.
It's just all the other zombies stuck him up there.
It's right. It's the muscle memory.
Well, so I guess the power went out because obviously the electrical grid is probably not working great right now, right? And if no one's keeping it going, it'll it needs people to upkeep it. But yeah, so they go down there. Bart gets bitten, taken. Lighting them on fire is a very cool scene. A little bit of use of like slow-mo and close-ups of the lighter and all that. Like, Snyder was definitely in his director bag trying
This
to show you all
is
the tricks.
the perfect Zack Snyder movie to show the most Zack Snyder-ish.
He does all that stuff and you're like, oh man, that's like, maybe he'll calm it down after this, and it's like 300's next.
Right. Exactly.
It only gets more. So then the pregnancy, which is a thing, I don't know if that has been in a movie before. It was pretty cool giving birth to a zombie baby.
Taylor was in watching the movie with me until that happened, and she's like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. And I was like, I understand.
It's like James Gunn has a thing with like little kids and babies. I don't get it, whatever. But it worked in this movie.
Wow. Wow. Can't make that joke.
He can't make that joke.
Not anymore.
He's fine. He's doing fine. I'm sure DC wouldn't care if he made jokes like that anymore. The fact that like Mekhi Phifer is holding what looks like just like a blanket rolled up. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything in there. And then the reveal, I thought it was just going to be a normal baby. I was like, oh, they're going to have to save this baby now. And
You
then
thought
when
it was going to be a normal baby?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
It was not a normal baby.
I thought the baby was going to eat her from the inside out.
It is kind of fucking sad, though. That was a normal baby at one point, and then we just killed a baby in this movie.
Yeah.
James Gunn wrote that. He's got to live with that, so that's all I'm saying.
I'm sure he's happy to.
Also, the scene of Norma shooting her in the head, and then Mekhi Phifer shooting her, and then them just killing each other. Yeah, his name is Andre in the movie, but he'll always be Mekhi Phifer to me.
Yeah, they're having their mini shootout, and then they hear the gunshots, which makes it seem like they only heard like one gunshot, and they all came rushing over there. Also, I don't get it. The old lady, whatever her name is, she puts out the cigarette.
Norma
puts out the cigarette before going into the...
It's a close-up?
It's like a slow-mo close-up of her foot smashing it. I'm like, oh, I guess we needed that.
Oh, I thought that was going to matter. It did not matter, yeah. No.
It did not matter at all.
That was pretty dumb, actually. So then they decide, all right, we got to get out of here. And this is like a very tropey thing, but I thought it was funny here. CJ recounts the dumb plan that they're going to do, and then he's like, all right, I'm in.
That's right. Yeah. And with like a good heaping of sarcasm, I mean, like, so you guys are going to do this and then that. Okay.
But then as they're like, oh, we're just gonna retrofit these buses with like plywood or whatever, or just whatever he's talking about. And then they make the most badass buses. One's got like the cow catcher on the front. Like,
Yeah.
I don't where did they get all these materials?
You always see Ving Rhames like welding things together, and I'm like, where
Yeah.
do they get all this material?
Sears.
Sears, Panasonic.
Yeah. So Andy is hungry. He's like, I don't know if I'll make it 5 days. They send him food and they need Andy because of all of his guns. His guns that he should have been using to kill zombies all day. And so because they need him, they're like, all right, we're going to send the dog. And then Andy just leaves the fucking door open for too long to let the zombies get in. You got to close that. Like, he had 2 seconds to close that door. You got to be immediate with that shit.
Also, it felt like less than he left it open for too long, and more like he opened it, let the dog in, and then started walking away. Didn't even check if like a zombie hand was gonna like come through and stop it from closing all the way.
Yeah. And then it's a cool moment. And it also leads you to believe like, oh, these zombies are smart. He writes on the board in blood. Obviously, it's not letters, it's not legible or anything, but he's writing and then shows them, which is the muscle memory thing, the consumption thing that you were talking about.
What's funnier than the girl? What's her name?
Nicole.
Nicole. What's funnier than Nicole on the walkie-talkie being like, "Oh, guys, look, there's Andy." Is Andy on the walkie-talkie before he's attacked by zombies, or no, as he's being attacked by...
They bit me real hard, man.
Oh man, they really bite you, huh?
Man, it's a lot of blood. And do we tell him? Also, the dog would have been fine. If the dog had been around zombies forever, she could have just left the dog. Such an idiot.
That was a good misdirection when we were first introduced to the dog. They were like, "Oh, the dog's alive. There can't be zombies down here because they would have eaten them." And then we're introduced to the legless one, which kind of, I don't know about you, but I was like, "Oh, the dog is alive because the only other zombie down here is the legless one."
Right. He can get away from.
He can get away from him, but that's not the case at all.
Yeah. So then we got to go use the sewer to get to Andy, which is like, feels like we could have done that for a while, right? Like Andy could have gotten in the sewers a
I
while
feel like
ago.
we could have done a lot of things for a while.
And they trust Steve to stay at the door. And then they get to the end of the sewer, and then Tucker just pulls the sewer grate down way too hard, just letting all the zombies know that they're there. Blowing the head off of Andy was pretty cool. Save Nicole. Another huge explosion. They're getting back. One of the coolest scenes is after Tucker's broken his legs, CJ dragging him and letting Tucker shoot as he drags him.
Yeah.
Would you rather be dragged or shooting?
He was doing both.
I want to do the dragging because then also I could drop your body and let the zombies start killing you as I grab the guns away from you.
Wow.
He was never making it out of there, unfortunately. So then they get back.
Shoot me!
Steve's not there. This is also like the design of this mall, right? They just immediately run because they can't close the door on the zombies. They run to the elevator. They get on. Very funny moment by CJ. Like, oh, I love this song. Go upstairs and then go somewhere else to go. I think downstairs to the trucks, or where are these trucks at?
I thought they were like in a attached parking garage situation.
Which the zombies can't get to. What? I don't understand. Anyway, get into
no, because they have those gates, like those parking garage.
Yeah, it
gates.
was closed. It was closed off. And then they're like, Steve, I'm gonna kill you. They get in the van. And yeah, Nicole is just like, oh, I'm just gonna get in a different van than you, Terry. It's like, what the fuck's that?
You have this moment kind of as they are building these monster trucks where this insurmountable amount of time goes by that apparently Anna and Michael have developed a romantic relationship.
You could sort of see that happening.
Could you?
Yeah, just because the talk, the scene where he's talking about, oh, I wasn't a great husband, I was a great father. Yeah, they have moments that it sort of leads to. And it's also, They don't have many other options, so you link up pretty quick so you can get your rocks off, I think.
She just lost her husband.
Yeah, I mean, she's got needs.
Okay. Okay.
Listen,
All
you
right.
go through a zombie apocalypse where you have to shoot a zombie baby in the head, and then you tell me who you're going to want to fuck after that. You know what I mean?
I like that quick, Steve and Monica having sex scene.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't know anything about them. Maybe they're a couple. I don't know. I doubt it.
what I love about that group of survivors is we know absolutely nothing about any of them, and I was so confused. I thought the old man was like the organ player. I thought he was like in a relationship with the big woman dying.
But no, he's just a gay guy that plays the piano.
Yeah, and no one knew who that woman was. I'm like, why are you dragging her around? Like, I'm sorry. I know that's like mean and heartless, but this is the zombie apocalypse. You're dragging a 300-pound half dead woman around? Are you fucking kidding me? And none of you know her?
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Oh
So
my
they,
god.
and the fact that Ty Burrell was letting that happen too, as much as he was like, hated other people. So
Uh,
they immediately get stopped by a wall of zombies in their truck and then blow them up with a propane tank. The propane tank does not hurt them at all or their van, but just blows straight that way the line of zombies. It's a
it was cool.
great.
I know you have a problem with it, but I liked it.
I wish Mythbusters would take a crack at this and explain how it blew up in that direction. I like the zombie holding it up like John Cusack and Say Anything just for him to shoot it.
So, from what I remember, it doesn't blow in one direction. It's a pretty even blow all around. But
Why wouldn't it
you,
destroy the van?
why would it though? The van's made out of metal, and it's a good distance away. They would just get the heat from it, but they're safe inside the van or the bus.
I feel like it would do some
But
damage to
then
the
they had the
bus.
cow catcher to kind of block a bunch of the debris coming towards them too.
Listen, this is why we need Mythbusters on this. So then they're driving, and then the fucking the gay piano player chainsawing the slutty blonde
It's the
didn't
worst
have that.
part of the it's the worst part of the movie. Not like bad, but like I was just like, "Oh, if
Oh
I watched
fuck,
this when I was a kid, I would have had nightmares about this scene."
crazy! Then their van
There's something
crashes.
about chainsawing people that's just very like
It's also he just
ingrained.
he just kept going. He like couldn't stop himself. He's like, I'm so sorry.
It's like it catches her skin and just pulls down. I do like the idea of the chainsaw, like putting it out through the grates of the side of the van. I thought
Cut
that
it,
was we saw that being useful one time.
cutting the legs off. Yeah. So the van crashes. They go. Ty Burrell immediately gets turned. She shoots him in the head. As she's going to get the key and then she gets pulled in, Mike gets bit. Like, it happens.
Well, that's the same kind of way when the pregnant woman got bit, and Zack Snyder shoots it in a way I think it's really cool. Actually, he shoots it in a way where you don't see the bite, but you know they got bit,
Yeah.
and it's enough for you to always kind of question it until you're confirmed.
When I actually didn't even remember her getting bit. I just remembered them going to the bathroom and like she's like, oh, she did get bit. But I didn't remember seeing it in the movie. So
But you see it in the same way that when Michael gets bit, you
right.
see it, but you don't. You know.
So they make it to the dock. CJ sacrifices himself. I was like, maybe Mike should have sacrificed himself. It's already
Actually, wasn't it kind of, don't you feel like it was the whole movie was set up that Ving would have sacrificed himself?
well. So Ving Rhames heard about the movie, called them, and I was like, I want to be in it because the black man survives.
Nice.
So no, he was not going to sacrifice himself in this movie. And then yeah, it semi ends with him blowing his head off, Mike, because he's not going to make it.
I also don't think CJ's sacrifice was that heroic in the sense of he didn't really have any other, like he was pretty screwed either way.
Well, they all could have ran to the dock, but the explosion stopped the zombies from being able to get to them. So it was he was increasing everyone else's chances while meaning like making sure he died.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And then it's what, four people? Ving, Sarah, Lindy, and Kevin. And I use their actors' names.
How quickly do you think when they're on the boat, Ving has the thought of like, well, I'm gonna tap that. That's gonna happen later. Him and Anna.
Sarah, Nicole, or Anna?
Anna. He's like,
Oh.
Terry's already claimed Nicole, but it's 2 and 2. What are we gonna do here?
I think Nicole is way more interested in doing the dog than Terry at this point, but I don't know. What do I know?
Well, it is a
He's like, Air Bud, no! How could you do this to me?
James Gunn movie, so that makes sense. Nathan Fillion auditioned for the role of Michael.
I really thought Nathan Fillion was going to be in this movie.
He would have been that. You said, so Jake Weber plays Michael. I just think I don't know that he's not capable of being charismatic. It's just the role is not very well written in this movie. They sort of took Anna and Michael should be like one character combined normally in this movie, and they sort of split them.
Right.
And I mean, it does lead to that point where she's like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna shoot Tucker too? He's got a hurt ankle." And Tucker's like, "What? I didn't get fucking bit."
Yeah.
So
It was good. There were some good jokes in this movie.
no, for sure. I just think I don't know what actor could have done anything more with the Michael part.
So let me ask you, David, what other movies would you like to see a James Gunn Zack Snyder collaboration with?
12th Night.
What's that one about?
That's a Shakespeare play. Hamlet.
Yes. Hamlet? A James Gunn Zack Snyder Hamlet movie? Okay.
Just making a joke.
It's
I
pretty
don't.
good.
I'm not. I'm not really jonesing for another collab. See, this isn't The Social Network to me, where you have a like Fincher directing a Sorkin movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of DC problems could have been solved if James Gunn and Zack Snyder teamed up on like the OG.
I don't know that I'm a James Gunn fan, and I've been making jokes about like his cancellation for the baby jokes. And I don't actually give a shit about that at all. I do think he is very much too online, and like doesn't need to answer every fan that talks shit to him.
I
But
think the other issue with that is like his friends are doing it now too. Like Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion are joining him on like just stop answering trolls on the internet,
So I've never seen Slither. I thought Super was okay. It's not really my style. I love Guardians 2. Never saw Guardians 3. I see clips from Peacemaker. It looks pretty cool. I don't know.
I think, in my opinion, I think James Gunn had a real cool style when he was more of an indie filmmaker with Slither and Super and that kind of stuff back in his we'll call it his golden age. And I think when he became a lot, mainstream, he does that thing where he puts cringe jokes too frequently in his movies, and I'm just like, you could let the drama set in this moment. You don't have to make a joke right now. But he's the multi-million dollar director. So what am I doing?
So
Who am I
apparently
to say?
the closing scene through the credits was shot after the fact. Like they had wrapped the movie, and then which I guess you don't even really see our characters for the most part, except on the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, Father of the Year moment. My son came out. I was like, the movie's over. It's just the end credits. My son saw his first tits, 6 years old. So that's great.
Well, second, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think he remembers those. And he was so close up that he probably didn't get a good look at him. He got a good look at these, and he just started laughing. And my wife's like, he saw that. And I was like, that's great. So thanks, Zach. Thanks, James.
Good job. I do want to say the slow down non-rock version of Down with the Sickness in the middle of this movie, amazing, awesome.
And then it ends with it.
And then it ends with the original Down with the Sickness, and I was like, this is great. This is perfect. It reminds me of this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but my wife and I kind of do a one for them, one for us sort of deal when it comes to movies. So like I'll watch a movie and I'll make her watch it, usually an I finally watch movie, and then she'll have me watch a romantic comedy with her.
You don't need to explain a lot.
And so we were watching the new Netflix rom-com called Wrong Paris with Miranda Cosgrove.
And this was your choice, so next she'll get to choose something.
Right. No. So we're watching Wrong Paris, which is, get this as a plot. She wants to go to Paris, so she signs up to like a Love is Blind dating show or like the Bachelor dating show that is said to be set in Paris. And then as she gets the free plane ride to Paris, she's going to purposely get kicked off the show, and then she'll just be in Paris, right?
She goes to Paris, Texas.
The show tricks all the audience, all the contestants into thinking they were going to France. In fact, they just flew around Texas for 9 hours and landed them in Paris, Texas. And so now they're in Paris, Texas. The movie starts out with the French rendition of These Boots Are Made for Walking.
And
I was like, that's amazing. That's great. That's the best thing about the movie.
Do you think that's the best movie ever shot in Paris, Texas, or about Paris, Texas, or do you think there's another better one?
Isn't there literally a movie, like a really famous movie called Paris, Texas?
There is. So the zombie baby scene was originally going to be showing the baby killing the mother, but it was
from the inside out. From the inside out?
I don't know, but it was altered because it was too graphic. So
Yeah.
Zack Snyder filmed this and was like, all right, I'm probably going to get an N-17. I'm going to have to cut shit out of it because that's what happened to the original Dawn of the Dead. It was originally rated X and he had to cut it down. The MPAA was just like, first pass. Nope, that's a rated R. So they didn't have to cut anything out of this.
I bet it's because when they shot the baby, they did a cutaway.
Yeah, they did a cutaway for that. They did a cutaway for Frank.
Yep.
So, yeah, they cut away a lot. And then also just like, it looked cool, but it also looked pretty fake. The shooting Andy in the head and then the zombie right before that they shot in the head. I think this movie is very much a product of its time and a product of like Zack Snyder at that time and writing from James Gunn. I still think it's pretty good. I think it was pretty effective in the end. But like a lot of zombie movies, I think they struggle landing the plane,
Mm-hmm.
docking the boat, as it were, in this scenario where it's just like, how do we end this movie? And this time they're like, let's end it 3 different ways, right? And then in deleted scenes too, we're going to be like, oh, well, actually, they got this under control. So it did remind me of the one point where Bart was like, America always gets its shit together. And Ving Rhames just looks at him and like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, no, that was good. I mentioned it before. I think this is kind of Zack Snyder's not his best. I think this is a weaker one of his. I think it's a weaker one of Gunn's writing. I actually kind of was thinking going into this that I was really gonna like it, and it disappointed me a bit. That's okay. I will admit there were a lot of good moments and cool things that I haven't seen in zombie movies that is done in this, and I was like, all right, that's new and cool. But as an overall film, I was just a little disappointed in it.
Well, the next Zack Snyder movie we have to do is 4-hour Justice League.
I'm down to do a 4-hour Justice League. It'll be probably one of our longest episodes ever. But have you ever seen Sucker Punch?
I have. I saw Sucker Punch in theaters. If we did Justice League, we would have to do it. It would have to be a 2-parter, which would actually be kind of funny to record that way, is where we watch the first 2 hours. We cut at exactly the 2-hour mark. We record, and then we finish it.
We need a guest. We need a team. A justice team. Yeah, we should team up with another podcast that has like 2 or 3 people in it.
Well, we can figure that out off the pod. Thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon. And we finally watched Dawn of the Dead, 2004.